So today is the last day of things that I'm going to put on my face for this sea moss cosmetics journey because tomorrow I'm sort of cheating but also not cheating because it's a cosmetic, but I'm not going to be using it. And today is the last day that I have to do that with this sea moss thing, and I'm very excited for that. I will tell you more about the stuff that I do not want to put on my face in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And as I said, it's time for more fun for you, probably, I guess, with sea moss. And we were going to be using a sea moss gel in a cream, a face cream formulation. Specified, it's going to be primarily targeted at calming and soothing and being reparative. So we're going to have a lot of hemp seed oil in it. We are going to have some delightful extracts in it. We are going to be using the sea moss gel and leaning into the antioxidant power, leaning into the healing, wound healing power, leaning into the not smell of it power though, because I don't like the smell of it. We've been talking about this. I don't like the smell of it. I really don't know why nobody has told me that it smells so bad. Like I've said, you guys can totally do whatever it is that you want with your sea moss journey. And if this is something that you love, that's awesome. You don't mind the smell? That's awesome too. Most of us as soap makers have pretty sensitive noses anyway, which is definitely a benefit for, our job. But I have like a sensitive nose, just like a really sensitive nose. And then I got pregnant and I got that pregnancy nose and it never went away. And so it's heightened to the nth degree. I can smell wood burning from, 5 houses down. I know what people are making as I drive past their house. Like, it's all a moment. And so this was a very overpowering scent for me. And to put it on my face, it was not enjoyable at all. That said, the formulation of this is pretty cool. So if you're into sea moss and all the jazz, then yeah, you could definitely consider trying this one out. I really like the inclusion of the sweet potato as well as the essential oils and the moisturizing oils that I used within this. This recipe is going to look a lot like yesterday's recipe with the clay mask. And so we're going to talk about why that is and realistically what the difference actually is between a clay mask and a lotion as far as formulation goes. So let's get to the video where I'm going to make the things and weigh out the things and, mixy mix the things and test the things for the last time. Okay, so today we are working with the sea moss face cream, and I'm using again my Rocketbook so I can just screen cap that and it converts it into a recipe that I can give to the sudsers in the Discord, which I love, because then I don't have to type things out. And for someone who commented on the most recent video saying please put the ingredients and description or the recipe in the description box, if you were being funny because of past do it all gym drama, teehee, it was awesome. If you're not, that's even more funny to me, honestly. So anyway, this will not be in the description box because that is not how I roll, but the sudsers can find this on the Discord. And what we are going to be working with this face cream is going to be a 70-30 blend of a lotion base. So that's the formulation that you're starting with. You're starting with 70% of your non-fatty acid oil liquids, so your water and your sea moss. In this particular case, we're going to be doing a 50-50 split of sea moss gel and water, and a 30% of effectively everything else. And so when creating this lotion, this face cream, I did want it to be rather lightweight. And with a 70-30 blend, that could go either way. You could end up with a more emollient and a thicker, lotion. But because I'm using for the bulk of the oils and butters that I'm putting into it, I'm using a very lightweight hemp seed oil. and just 5% of a firmer, consistency with the mango butter, it will still continue to be very lightweight. And this is very good. I'm ultimately going for, whenever I'm making a face cream or a lotion of any sort, with this formulation, first and foremost, I want it to be really, I want it to make sure that we can balance out that comedogenic rating so we don't end up with any pore clogging that could occur. And that is something that can occur with the cetyl alcohol in this formulation, as well as potentially the mango. But when you're mixing it with the rest, with your hemp seed and all of your hyaluronic acids, your glycerins, and et cetera, and so forth, it does balance out to a good comedogenic rating, so you don't have to worry about pore clogging, which is going to be important because for this particular blend, I'm really leaning into the benefits of the sea moss gel itself, in that the sea moss is very antifungal, probably because of the sulfur content, probably also why it smells. It's very anti-inflammatory. It really breaks down bacteria. It's very skin plumping, and it is a sebum balancing gel. So that's all going to be really good things for topical applications, really great things for the face. And so I decided to lean into that with the rest of my ingredients. So in selecting the hemp seed oil, I wanted that in the highest amount because it is also very anti-inflammatory. It also helps out with acne. It's really great for cell turnover, so it's going to be helpful with your skin doing its natural sloughing off and exfoliation process. And it's very soothing and can help out with pain relief too, which is a secondary benefit. Not really what I was considering within this formulation itself, however. Now the mango butter, that is going to be really good for itchy and dry skin, and also it has a little bit of a UV protectant because of what mango butter does when exposed to air. And so that's a fun thing with summer coming up. We have more time out in the sunshine, really, and you want to do everything you can to protect your skin from UV damage. And that does start with obviously all of the stuff you're putting on your skin before you put on makeup, which is a very important thing because some of us don't wear makeup. And in addition to that, for the emulsifiers, I am using an e-wax that is a cetyl alcohol and poly 60 blend. The cetyl alcohol, as I said, it can exacerbate acne, but when it's paired with this hemp, it's going to essentially remove those pore clogging issues that we would otherwise experience. And because it is at such a small percentage within the recipe itself, all good to go. And cetyl alcohol topically, if it does not exacerbate, acne prone skin, it really does help out with itchiness, dryness, any sort of skin irritation. Is also really good for, a sort of protectant, which is good. The BTMS is also going to provide a nice little barrier too, as well as being conditioning. So it is going to be great to put into something like a face cream as your co-emulsifier because of that barrier quality. And that's because if you are somebody who wears makeup, it's going to have a nice barrier, on your skin that will also be a nice tacky, application essentially for your makeup. For those people who do not use primers, who hate to use primers, my mother is one of those people. Something like this is a really good idea to really make sure that that makeup sticks and stays and doesn't start creasing and doing strange things. Now, in addition to the emulsifiers, obviously the essential oils that I'm, well, not obviously, but the essential oils that I'm using in this are I think I'm just using actually the Egyptian geranium, and that is going to be so good for cell turnover as well as for inflammation and all of the jazz. Is this what it is? Is that all I'm using? Yep, the Egyptian geranium. Let's talk more about this while we make it. Okay, now on to the making. Now both of these have been warmed up. The sea moss gel solution is at 170. My oils are at a lot, something like almost 200 degrees, very, very hot. And I'm going to start the blending process to make sure that we get a stable emulsion before continuing. So I will be blending this for 1 to 3 minutes, depending on really how much oil and water we have as well as heats. This is going to be a very quick one because we are working with a higher heat within the oil blend. With this step, after we finish up this, I will be putting in all of the rest. So my actives, including my extracts. And for the extracts that I included with this, I chose the rose and the coffee extracts because this is what we've made on the channel up to this point, a rose extract and a coffee extract this year. And so the rose is going to be really good for skin softening, for skin brightening, and coffee is going to be really great for that skin tightening, which is going to be beautiful. We're really leaning in to all of the antioxidant rich, all of the the vitamin A, the vitamin C, your omegas to really create a skin healing and skin protecting as well as skin plumping experience that's really going to help out with the cell turnover as well. For the hyaluronic acid within all of this, that is going to be really good for, again, firming, maintaining your moisture levels, really good for tightening and toning. And that's what the sea moss gel ultimately does as well. So that's going to be a really good benefit too. The really fun inclusion that I have within this is going to be the purple sweet potato powder though. And it's just beautiful. So it creates a really pretty face cream, which I totally love. But the benefits of sweet potato powder, so topically, is again, it's very antioxidant rich. It has loads of vitamin A, loads of vitamin C. So that's going to be really good for sun protection. It's really going to be great for collagen production. And so ultimately, what this entire formulation becomes is a really heavy hitter while still being lightweight and not feeling overly heavy on your face that you can use as a day cream that will really help out with, again, your cell turnover. So that's going to be great for fine lines and wrinkles, with sun damage, with damaged skin, with acne, and with overall moisture levels, and creating, again, a nice barrier and a protectant from UV damage. This is my thinking throughout all of it because these are the things that exist within the sea moss gel itself. And so leaning into all of those reparative benefits, I thought was a great idea. Now, with the stir stick here, as I've said before, I use my stir stick to blend all of my cosmetics, but I only use the whisk attachment. You can totally put your emulsion head in it if you wanted to, but I don't do that because I do not share, just as a general good manufacturing practices, I do not share tools with between cosmetics and soaps. I just do not do it. And so doing it this way means I know that my whisks are always just going to be for cosmetics, and my stick blenders, my stick is only going to be for soaps, and nobody ever has to get confused in the shop because I'm not the only one that's ever making stuff. You know what I mean? So I have blended both stages in, so the oil and water and the sweet potato powder that I've blended in really well to make sure that's well incorporated. We don't have any extra flecks of it hanging out anywhere. And now I'm putting in the final step, which is going to include all of all of my actives as well as my preservative. And a preservative, obviously, in this scenario is going to be very, very important because you are doing a cosmetic that has water in it. Anytime that you have water in it, that is going to be a hotbed for all bacterial growth, and we do not want that. We do have the secondary problem of we are putting in a powder of a food and a gel of another food, I guess, because people like to eat it. And so, because we have these organic inclusions within all of this, putting in a preservative that is the right preservative range for has the right pH range is going to be critically important for your cosmetic formulations. Now, even then, when I do put in my preservative at the appropriate amounts for the preservative itself, that is the very important thing that you need to keep in mind whenever you are doing your formulations. You have to go off of what the preservative max ranges are. But even though I do this and I'm putting in the preservative, I'm not just assuming that it is going to be fine and completely safe to use and whatnot. This is when testing actually begins in the formulation process. And so for these purposes, what I did with this is I let it sit out for at least 10 days. So I had a nice visual of what I could see in all of this to show you guys as well. To see if we got any sort of growth whatsoever. So I did not package it. I did not close up. Nothing is sealed in all of it because I also wanted to see if it formed a very interesting skin. And in neither cases did it do that. But again, these are part of the testing process and all the things. After that, I do take a sample and I do look at it under a microscope to see what we're working with, see if we have any nasties. And then at that point is when I start actually testing it on myself. And so all of those things were done, and I am now going to test it on myself. So here it is, all poured and ready to go to sit and just observe it for a while before I have to then put it on myself. So let's go to the that part, and I can tell you my ultimate findings with this sea moss. Okay, and on to the test. And as I said, this has sat for about 10 days. I haven't touched it. I've just watched it. And it still has a very lovely consistency. Now, when I was mixing this, I was concerned that it was a little bit too thin. And so perhaps you could definitely increase the amount of butters that you're putting into it if you want a thicker cream, for sure. But because I wanted to use this as like a day cream to put underneath makeup, as you know, on top of all of my serums and toners and all the jazz, I wanted it to be very, very lightweight. And it is. It is a very lightweight lotion, and it feels beautiful on the skin. Definite plumping effect for sure. Ultimately, with all of it, it still does smell of sea moss once the essential oil has sort of worn off. What you are left behind with is sea moss, and so my face smelled very sulfuric after this. I didn't love that, you know, and so I don't know. Again, if you are fine with it, that is great. For me, my nose is far too sensitive, so to put something like this close was not a good time for me. I don't know. You know, you do your thing. It's a good formulation if you like the sea moss. I think you'll really like the results. But, you know, again, for me with the smell, I'm sorry. You probably don't have to listen to me gripe about it for much longer. And there it is, a very lightweight cream for your skin. Now, it's actually a little bit strange that it is so lightweight because it is at like a 70-30 split essentially. So that means 70% water, 30% of your hydrating oils and butters usually yields a thicker consistency. In this particular instance, though, it did not. I did put a lot of actives in this, as well as the incorporation of the sea moss, and didn't really up any of the rest of my oils or butters to sort of account for the more liquid within it. And so as far as as like the actual formulation goes, it feels good. It goes on very nicely. It definitely has a nice plumping effect almost immediately. But once that essential oil kind of wears off, you are definitely left with that sea moss smell. And so for that, I don't dig it. And I don't actually know how to make these things not smell. Remember on the packaging that it said that you could mix it like when it's soaking with lemon or something? Do you think putting the lemon slices in while I was creating a gel would have helped offset this smell? Because it was bad. You're never going to have to listen to me gripe about, you know, sea moss smelling bad, though, ever again, because we are almost done. If you are interested in this recipe, definitely check it out in the video. Also, because I've been using my Rocket Book, you know, for whatever, I'm just screen capping these and putting them straight into Discord because it does its little thing and turns it all into text, and I don't have to do anything. So that's super helpful for me. Not sponsored by Rocketbook. I just found my Rocketbook for the first time in years. And so I thought, what a great way to use this to put the recipes up in the Discord. Makes it really easy. And so, yeah, for those of you interested in the recipe, they're in the Discord. If you're interested in the Discord, you have to be a member of the channel in order to be in the Discord. We love you. Like, you don't have to be a member, but you can't stay in the... You get it. It's one of those you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here things. Yeah. Speaking of not having to go home, but you can't stay here, we're at the end of the video. It's time for me to go. I have one more soap, cosmetic. I mean, it is a cosmetic, but it's also a soap because that's just how labeling and definitions and stuff work. And I'm going to be showing you how Lush actually makes their soaps so it can be cuttable on site, you know, all that. And we're going to be using sea moss. We're going to be using the sea moss soaps that I originally made several months ago to start this formulation out. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. That would be cool. Notify. Bell. All the things. Sudsers, thank you for being so cool with me complaining for the most part about the smell of sea moss more than anything else. But also, I'm still willing to do the formulations and to test them and stuff, you know? And so like I said, if you're into it, this is a pretty good formulation. So you should try it. I'm out of here for today, but I will see you guys all again tomorrow for sea moss infused cosmetic, but also still soapy and will legitimately be fun. Bye.